Hey Carmelo, comment ça va toi? Merci d'être venu. So that was a little taste of Gimme Shelter, a little bit, kind of. I heard on the K Experience Music Project radio station, internet radio station today, a version of that song by Mary Clayton. Now, Mary Clayton's the gal who sings backup on that tune, you know, like, rape, murder, is it a shadow way, is it a shadow way? Excuse me. So apparently she was 4 months pregnant and came at midnight to the studio to do that part. And unfortunately, a few weeks later, she suffered a miscarriage. And some people say it's due to the exertion that she, exhibited on that song, performed. And so, Carmelo, do you have any questions? Est-ce que tu as des questions pour moi? And so that was like that. But and the tuning on this guitar is crazy. It's like normally it's E, A, D, G, B, E, right? Right across here. But on this one, no. It's E, B, E, G sharp, B, E. But it's kind of cool. Isn't that cool sound? Just opening. What do I show on my live? Carmelo asks. This is you're seeing it, sir, mister. If you have any suggestions, I'm all ears. But do keep in mind that this is going on the Book of Faces, the 2 reviews, and the Gram of Instas. So there are certain restrictions. So like we can try the standard chord forms, like this would be a D. Doesn't sound very nice. But the A7, A7 minor, A minor. I like the E. The G. That sounds like a jazz chord, huh? And this is the Jimi Hendrix chord. A7 is acceptable. You're in the train, so Carmelo says that he's going to watch as long as he can. Thank you very much, sir. But he's in the train and the Wi-Fi's probably going to drop out. Where are you headed? Do you mean the metro? Or are you on the train or the RER? A workshop. Carmelo's suggesting that I do a workshop. Now, what sort of workshop should I do? This is an interesting idea. I like this idea. Because on these podcasts, I play a little guitar, and then I do an art update. Woo! Very good. And then I headed back to Luxembourg. Okay, bon voyage, monsieur. Carmelo's heading back to Luxembourg. And tu reviens au pays bientôt. What sort of workshop should I do? See, nuts, I have to keep this. I'm literally using a rubber band to mount my telephone. You're an artist. I like to paint. I thought, what better way to appreciate your art apart from purchasing it by creating one with you? Oh, that's a great idea. So I could have a little art workshop up here. A little, what do you call those things? It's an art, well, like workshop, but there's another word for that. A salon. Yes. It'll be a little tight and a little hot in here, but I've got a fan and a spray bottle. But that's a great idea. We should do that next time you're in town. What do you like to paint? Who's your favorite artist? Or what artist do you like? What style do you like? What are you into? Problem with that, there's a bit of a lag on the response time. The problem with that is that it doesn't really sound right without the solo part on it, and that's Keith playing both parts, evidently. He did, and the solo is in standard tuning, and this part is in this crazy tuning, which I just tried to explain. Okay, I'm afraid that Carmelo has fallen out of coverage area, so we'll continue with an art update. Thank you, however, Carmelo, for that excellent suggestion. And if anyone else has any ideas about that, about conducting an art salon workshop, I'm all ears, hey? So here we go. This one, if you saw yesterday's episode, I got this sanded down. Unfortunately, a lot of the paper disappeared, so there's a lot of white of the canvas showing through. Now the next layer I was planning on putting down the sheet music, the partitions. Okay, so here's Carmelo comes back and says, I'm a fan of Van Gogh. I learned this saying, paint your dreams. And so scenarios of cities or ideal travel that I paint are fun to manifest through painting. Do you put any of those on your Instagram? I'd be curious to see that. But that's a great idea. That's super intriguing. Thanks, Carmelo. And so I sanded this down, and a lot of the canvas came through, and I was going to put the musical partition on with all the notes and so forth. But I decided to. I think what I'm going to do is put another layer of book pages on here because it's more. I have more of them because the partitions are kind of precious because I only have one book of them, and I want to choose those which are less dense, and a lot of them are very dense, meaning lots of notes in there. Oh, then since we're talking about sayings, who was it? Mozart was playing for some king, probably Louis the something, and the king said to him, "But sir, there are too many notes." So I don't want to put too many notes on this canvas. So I think I'm just going to paper it over. Now the thing is I had to glue this. You can see a little bit right here. I put this, so that medical tape that you put on bunions and so forth, or on your heel if you have a callus. And then I dumped some wood glue in the back. This stuff right here. And so I'm holding it down with the tape and then gluing the canvas, the cotton canvas, to the canvas frame. And that should ameliorate things. But in order to avoid that in the future, what I do is I'm using this 60 grit sandpaper by Mirka, the best. And what happens is that this the frame is actually constructed. I don't know if you can't really see in there, but it's constructed as a wedge. So right here is a point. And you got to be very careful if you want to attempt to do this at home of the rim right there, the very outer portion, because it's easy to sand through there. So, and also what I do is I use these blocks, and the problem with using the blocks is that you can't feel what you're doing, So it's just like you're just powering through there. If you use just the paper in your hand, then you can be more careful, use a light, more delicate touch. And so what I did today, which is exhibited on this other one, the smaller one here, this is going to be called Rouhamont. So you can see on the edges there what I've been going and very carefully taking the paper off, ripping the paper off with first starting with 60 grit, then to 80 grit, then to 120 grit, without tearing the edge of the canvas there. And unfortunately, a lot of the paper came off the center here, and that's kind of a shame because there were some things going on, but I think it was a problem because of the glue that I'm using, which is PVC and white glue, Elmer's glue, commonly known. I think I have it it's sort of the consistency, I don't know if you can see that, sort of the consistency of heavy cream, and I think that's still too aqueous, so I'm going to have to dump more of my PVA, polyvinyl acetate, white glue, extra strong and white FlexiPlay. FlexiPlay. So flexible and play, and bendable. And so I'm going to increase the thickness of this because, you know, I tore off a bunch of the paper here in the process, but, you know, it's something that, it's a shame, but it's something that had to be done because otherwise you're going to have that problem embedded on the canvas the entire time. Like when you put something moisture over it again, it begins to buckle again, and that's just no good. So even though it's a hassle, the previous canvas that I prepared, I put 4 layers of paper on in. This is already 3 layers, so it looks like I'm going to have to do more. But I do like how the zone and the color, the tones of the zone are coming through, huh? That's looking pretty sweet, if I don't say so myself. Now, I usually go through Par quel or, le guerre de la lumière. But today, I think I'm going to do some Zen guitar. So again, I just opened it to a random page and I liked the passage that I read. Black belt hand, carriage, sound painting, tone, intuition, energy, yin yang, 2 hands as one, balance. This is by a certain Philip Toshio Sudo. I think he's from Hawaii. I think, sadly, he may be in heaven by now. Carriage. You can tell whether a person plays or not by the way he carries the instrument, whether it means something to him or not, then the way they talk and act. If they act too hip, you know they can't play shit. Miles Davis. Every move we make in life says something about us, whether we're aware of it or not. Strangers can watch us from a park bench and know something about our character just from the clothes we wear, or the way we walk, or the way we wear our hair. The samurai says, a man who has achieved mastery of an art reveals it in his every action. I've heard the opposite, by the way. This is like the jazz musician who says he can tell just from watching the way another musician sets up for a gig whether anything will be happening that night. Those who have achieved the black belt level of Zen guitar show it in their very carriage, unself-consciously, before they play a single note. Okay, cool. Thanks, everyone. Merci beaucoup, Carmela. Bon voyage et à bientôt. J'espère pour un salon d'art à l'atelier. Les Pyrénées, pas loin de métro Jodin.